Postables! Welcome to Deliver Me a Podcast. We have a very special recap today, a bonus recap of the wrong wedding planner. But before we get into that, I am joined by my lovely host, Kaycee.
Hi guys, and yes, I'm still in the DLO because I need to be in my happy place, especially after watching this movie.
Yes. And I am wearing my black shirt, channeling some inner Mandy. I thought about wearing a sweatshirt with a hoodie, but I was like, oh, it doesn't really work with headphones.
Oh gosh.
I wanted to embrace the crazy, okay?
I mean, you do have that blondish hair like Mandy, you know.
Yeah, not quite as blonde as Kristin, but but yeah, so this movie aired on Lifetime Movie Network and stars our very own Lowe and Kristin Booth in roles nothing like Rita and Shane.
Nope.
Yeah. And the movie also stars two other notable actors, Vivica Fox and Jackie Harry. And before we dive in, we just wanted to put in a brief disclaimer because normally we recap Hallmark. It's a Hallmark show. We normally recap in movies and stuff, but this is a Lifetime movie, and it does contain some adult content, so probably not something you're going to want to watch with your kids, but just be aware.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to watch with your kids.
You know, unless they're like adult kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the basic synopsis of this movie is that Ashley, who is played by Crystal, and Brad are an engaged couple to get married, and they end up hiring this wedding planner named Mandy, who happens to be Kristin Booth, and they begin to work with her to plan their wedding, and things quickly go awry. Dun, dun, dun. So before we actually dive in, did you have any initial thoughts, Kaycee, just from watching, maybe a trailer or just what you kind of knew the movie was going to be about? What were your initial thoughts?
I mean, okay, so when I discovered that this movie was actually a thing on IMDb when we were doing Kristin's interview back in early summer, I was like, I bet you Kristin's playing the villain. I just had this feeling. And then I watched the trailer the day before it aired, and I was like, yep, I'm right. But this is going to be so much fun because I don't naturally like thrillers or creepy movies or anything crazy like that, just because, I don't know, I think it just freaks me out. And I think being a mom now, it just freaks me out even more so. Just because, I have other little people to think of. So I try not to watch those things because otherwise my mind goes crazy. I did love this type of, movie, Lifetime stuff when I was younger, but can't do it now. So I was literally just watching for our girls, Kristin and Crystal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of the same here. I don't normally gravitate toward Lifetime movies. I don't really mind thrillers. It just usually isn't what I default to. But as soon as we saw that Kristin and Crystal are going to be in this, I'm like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, and it's always super fun to see actors play things that we're not used to seeing, something way opposite of what the typical norm.
Right. And then we get to see the range as an actor because they don't just, they have so many more, talents and abilities than what maybe one role gives them. So
yeah, and then people don't stick them in a box either, So
yeah. So this movie, it starts with kind of like a very brief flash of what's going to happen in the future, and then begins with somebody breaking into Brad and Ashley's home, and the detective is very dismissive, and we're led not to think much about it. And then Ashley attends a wedding of a friend or client of hers. I wasn't really clear on that, but while she's there, she meets this woman named Mandy Raines, and they meet while they're looking at this flower that happens to be beautiful but deadly, as Mandy quickly points out.
I was like, oh girl, run away, Ashley, go.
I know, it was such a clear foreshadowing because they have this very beautiful wedding planner who happens to be deadly, just like a flower.
Yeah.
And then of course the first real clue too is when Mandy says, "Oh, don't tell Clarissa that I'm going to be your wedding planner." And that was my first. I mean, we already know that she's the villain, but I was like, she's not really a wedding planner. She had nothing to do with this wedding.
Oh yeah, 100% knew that. And I think the other thing too with these Lifetime movies, because it's been a really long time since I've seen a Lifetime movie such like this. Lifetime movies, it's more of the ridiculousness of like, you know, the victim stupidity, if you will. Whereas in a Hallmark mystery, which I'm so used to seeing, it's not so much like that. It's a true mystery in the fact that you don't know who's doing it. And I think for me going into this movie, I had to quickly switch my brain to think, okay, we already know, like we're the outsiders looking in. We know everything that's going to happen. It's just watching a reaction. Whereas a mystery, like you're like in the details, trying to sleuth and trying to figure out who done it. So that was one thing that struck me as soon as Mandy was like, "Don't tell Clarissa," I was like, okay, I really got to shift my brain and just watch it and enjoy it.
Right, because we already know who the bad guy is. So we already know. Yes, and like you said, we're more there to be entertained by the victim or the whatever their stupidity and lack of common sense.
There was a lot of that in this movie.
Yes, I was like, oh, like the first thing is that Ashley is just like, yeah, here's a spare key to my house. No big deal. There you go.
Like, seriously? Who does that?
I don't know. It's like you met this woman, like, I don't know, a day ago. Like,
right?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to be home, but you can come by. Great.
Yeah. And then the other thing that got me, I was like, Ashley, dear, sweet Ashley, you idiot. Nobody puts their passwords pasted on their computer. Like, what the heck, man?
Yes, that is not the smartest thing. So if you have your passwords currently printed and taped to your computer, go remove them and yeah.
Yes, and just for you people out there, make sure your passwords have a capital letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a special character, and don't have them in plain sight. And don't post personal information like your social security number on Facebook, because I've seen that happen before.
Oh gosh.
So, just PSA. All right, let's continue.
Yes. And the final disturbing thing that Mandy does to spy on Ashley and Brad is to plant a camera in their bedroom. Ew.
Oh no, she did.
Hence the adult scene that we mentioned earlier. Oh goodness. But yes, so Mandy's got a lot of things in the works here to keep tabs on this couple. And so the first couple times that Mandy works with Ashley, Brad is not there. But then eventually he comes home and Mandy is there working with Ashley. And surprise, they know each other.
Surprise, surprise. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, I just have to say, what did you think of Brad in this scene?
Well, I do not think he was Mr. Right. I think Ashley picked the wrong wedding planner, and I also think she picked the wrong fiance. He was like so disinterested, and I don't know, just like he wasn't very likable.
He wasn't. He was kind of I don't know. He was kind of a pansy, because I was like, come on, Brad. Come on. Like, this crazy lady, and you know she's crazy, is planning your wedding, and you're gonna let your fiance like have a ball with her and think that everything's okay? Oh no.
Yeah, because he doesn't tell Ashley anything initially.
Yeah, initially he looks like he's seen a ghost, and then like Ashley's just left there like, man, my fiance is such a loser because he's not interested in planning our wedding. Like, come on, girl. You can do better than Brad.
Yeah. That, yes, for sure.
We're not high on Brad here.
No, we are not. He is not one of the typical Hallmark men that we are used to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and not that every woman needs a knight in shining armor, but he just seemed like such a loser. I I mean, especially in the beginning, like once it started going on, all the crazy things started happening, especially after he tells Ashley who she really is. And it's like, okay. But then there's moments I'm like, dumb.
Yes. But yeah, so Brad sees Mandy, doesn't say anything. And then he goes to talk to Mandy's old roommate, I think. And she pretty much
I think Mandy was working for her. She was
Oh,
living
was
there
she?
working for her too. Like cleaning
maybe.
Or something like that.
But yeah, anyway, they knew each other. And this woman pretty much confirms what we already know, that Mandy is a little cray-cray. And
a little cray-cray? She a lot cray-cray.
And yeah, and both of them are, I think, quite concerned about Mandy at this point, and like, what are we gonna do? And then shortly after that, we have the cake tasting incident, where we see a little bit more of Mandy's other side.
Okay, wait. So we've seen a lot of shifts in Mandy. So Mandy's like a light switch. One moment she's on, one moment she's off. One moment she's on again, one moment she's off. And it's like it's really disturbing to watch, honestly. And Kristin does an amazing job with it. Like,
yes,
she is so incredible, turning it on and off so quickly. But man, this cake scene left me a little shook there.
Like, she just goes after this poor cake.
She massacres that cake. I mean, she's like gripping the bride and groom on the top of like the topper, and she's like struggling to just like break it. And when she can't really break it, she finds that knife and just starts like hacking it to bits.
I know. It's like, that's some rage. That's some
right?
Rage.
Very, oh gosh. And then she's like, the baker comes back in, and Mandy's all like, no big deal.
Just like licking the icing off her fingers. Like, okay.
As an actress, it must have been really fun for her to just have at it and just go irate on the cake.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I hope they got to enjoy the cake after.
Yeah.
And didn't just like throw it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mandy kills a cake, and then Brad goes to pay her a visit, and Mandy's she's just playing it up, I feel like, at this point. Like, she knows she's making Brad squirm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And she's like super demented, y'all. Like,
yeah. We learned she lied about a pregnancy, for starters, to try to keep them. And again, though, we're led to believe, like, what is so great about Brad that she is so obsessed with him? This man is not even a catch. Like, oh no.
Oh.
But so yeah, after that, Brad and Ashley have dinner with Clarissa, which was the bride from the beginning, and Clarissa drops a bomb that Andy wasn't my wedding planner. That's not her name.
Yeah, my wedding planner's 87 years old.
Not quite like the woman you've been working with. And so Ashley confronts Brad, like, what is going on? And Brad finally comes clean. And they make up pretty quickly. I mean, Ashley's really mad, and then she kind of just like, okay, whatever, like, seems to accept it pretty quickly.
Yeah. I will say Crystal did a really good job with that confrontation scene in like confronting Brad, and finally, I was like, finally you're getting a spine. Yeah. Ashley, not Crystal, obviously. But I mean, she's finally confronting it, and she's like yelling at him, and I'm like, yes, you need to lay it on him because he was keeping this from you.
Yeah, because now that you said that, like, yeah, Ashley's character was very like timid. This, like, she would just be like, okay, just go with whatever. Like, she never really stood up for herself, and like, this was almost like her turning point of like, what kind of situation here. So yeah, so they make their peace, and then Mandy begins to escalate her craziness as if it wasn't already crazy enough. So she sends...
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Like, we mentioned the adult scene in the early stages. So Mandy's also watching them. at night in their bedroom. So that's also like we've gotten from there to then like pure revenge on them, because as you were about to say,
she sends some very risque photos of Ashley to not only a minister, but to Brad's like entire company, not just his coworkers, but his clients. And he gets suspended because obviously the boss is pretty mad about this.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, it's bad enough to clients, but your minister?
Right.
Like what? The client and the coworker think that's really bad, but like the minister had me shooketh. Like I was like, oh gosh, my eyes.
And this might be the one time I felt sorry for Brad. This might have been the one time because this was really not his fault.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Right. Well, and he was up for a really big client too, which I think it was like going to lead to some other like big promotions or whatever. But and like that hacking incident in which the pictures were sent to everybody quickly diminished and killed that opportunity, not just for him, but also like his claim, you know? So I don't blame the boss for suspending him.
No,
honestly.
Yeah. And so then, they start digging into, they go back to the detective and dig into like, okay, how did Mandy get this? And they learn that there was like a keystroke logger that helps her get passwords too, even when they change them. But they're not able to definitively link that to Mandy. What's fun here is that, Mandy, so initially Ashley's like, oh, she's just like, she takes a picture of the passwords, no big deal, but we clearly see now she has a bit of some hacking skills, just like her counterpart, Shane.
Her angelic twin.
Yes, her angelic twin, Shane, who uses her hacking skills for good. Not bad. And so Mandy, so they changed, Brad and Ashley changed the locks in their house, and then Mandy goes in, kills the locksmith in the shower, and then steals the keys.
I mean, what?
I was like, okay.
And then the locksmith too, he's telling Brad and Ashley, or he's telling just Ashley to get a security system. And I'm like, you dum-dums, go get yourselves a ring, or, what's it called? All the security home surveillance things. Yeah. I mean, you obviously have someone who is crazy after you guys. Like, go get something installed.
Yeah, and were you suspicious of the locksmith? Like, I was totally like, this guy seems like he was overly chatty. I'm like, who are you?
100%. 100% suspicious.
I thought maybe he was in like cahoots with Mandy and like helping them. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But spoiler alert, he was innocent and then ended up dead. So,
yep.
Sorry,
just
sorry,
like the baker
guy. The baker died?
Didn't Mandy kill the baker?
She killed some female, but I guess I didn't recognize it as the baker. You might be right. I might. I didn't. I think I didn't pay enough attention to that part of the movie.
Okay. Well, she killed somebody else too. Mandy has now killed 2 people at this point.
And a cake.
And a cake. Can't forget about the cake.
Yes. But yes, so Mandy's got the keys and she breaks in, and Ashley is sleeping when she comes in. They have a very, very short confrontation. So this part of the movie was a little disappointing for me. I would have liked to see more of a struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Either between Mandy and Ashley or Mandy and Brad and Ashley after. Like, I felt like there needed to be more here. Like, I'm like, oh, that was anticlimactic.
I know. And the other thing too is my husband was like, oh, you never tell a mental patient that they need help. Like,
right. It's like, especially when you're saying it kind of like, you need help. Like,
right. And I'm with you there. I was really hoping, this is gonna come out so weird. I was really hoping that there was gonna be a brawl. Like, that would have been so funny to see Kristin and Kristin like beat the crap out of each other.
And I bet they would have had so much fun doing that.
I know.
But sadly, no. Ashley gets chloroformed pretty quickly. I mean, I'm assuming it's chloroform, but and then ties her up in the bed.
But this is where Kristin had alluded to dragging her like dead weight body across the floor.
And that was like a big staircase too.
I know. I can imagine if my best friend and I were acting together and like they had to drag my dead weight body and lift me up the stairs, I would be crying from laughing. I mean, you guys have seen our blooper reels of just Cammie and I like losing our minds on just something dumb. Can you imagine? Our directors would fire us. They fired me at least.
Yes, so there's a fun dragging scene of Crystal being dragged across the floor by Kristin, aka Mandy. And then another interesting thing. So Mandy, after she ties up Ashley, just hops in the bed of Brad and Ashley's bed and gets under the covers so that when Brad comes home, yeah, she just like, he like rolls over to her and she like reveals her face. Hi, Brad. Like, so creepy.
So creepy. Ew.
And don't think I've ever seen anyone get out of bed so fast as Brad in that moment.
Oh my gosh. He popped out of there like toast out of a toaster.
Yes. And so he's like super worried about Ashley, obviously. He's like, where's Ashley? Like, okay, we'll figure this out, blah, blah, blah. And then
to which I'm like, Brad, you idiot. Just like punch her or something. Like tie her up.
She's got a knife though. She's got a knife, so.
Oh, that's true. She did, yeah. But still, like, you could do some karate kicks and kick that knife out or throw something at her, right?
I don't know. Brad's probably not athletic enough.
That's kind of a dummy.
They need the locksmith because he lifted weights for 3 seconds.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, get it.
And even he couldn't take Mandy down. Granted, he was surprised in the shower, but
yeah.
But anyway. So we see Ashley coming up behind Mandy with a hammer. She happened to be in the bedroom drawer.
Which I don't know if you noticed, but when she pulls open the drawer, the hammer just boop, it pops up.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, is this like a bouncy hammer? Like what?
Like one of those inflatable ones?
Yeah. Like
yeah, so she takes Mandy down with one swift strike. And the police come. When they get there, Mandy is gone because Brad and Ashley are dummies and just left her up there by herself.
They didn't tie her up, tie her to the bed. Like, she was unconscious for probably a really long time before really long time, 5 minutes? Because police probably showed up very quickly. But surely they could have found some duct tape and like duct taped her to the floor or to the bed or to something. Like, oh man.
This couple, they need to watch more Lifetime movies so they understand how this ends. Okay.
Right.
You have to secure the person before the police come.
Yeah. And it's not like they didn't have any rope at their disposal because Ashley was tied up. So they could have easily used the rope that Ashley had and tie up Mandy.
Yes. So yes, Mandy escapes and Ashley and Brad get married, even though I don't understand them as a couple. Maybe they both deserve each other for both being kind of dumb.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're just both two dumb people that got married because these two have absolute no common sense and no sense of imagination.
But the story is not over because we see a person in the audience. And it just happens to be Mandy with a wig, and she is not done yet.
Dun, dun, dun!
So, possible sequel? Maybe. I don't know. Wrong Wedding Planner Part 2?
The Wrong Divorce Lawyer, I think is something I saw on Twitter.
Here we Oh, the wrong divorce lawyer. Oh, that would be good. Although then they can't say they didn't recognize her.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, we could put like a brown wig on Kristin and put like green contacts on her or brown contacts and do a lot of like makeup. Maybe it could be in winter, so then she'll have to like wear jackets and
there you go.
gloves and a turtleneck. All you see is just her face.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I thought this, I mean, like I said, Lifetime isn't what I would normally watch, and I'm not going to watch something like this again, probably, but I thought it was really fun to see them in these roles, and especially Kristin getting to play such a fun, acting-wise character, and really see her embrace that. I think she did such a great job with that.
She's an amazing villain. Like, even my husband was super creeped out by her. Like, because we're so used to seeing Kristin as Shane McInerney on Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and Shane is like a little sassy, really sweet, really fun, happy go, she's just like a normal human being. And then we turn the page, and here's Mandy, and Mandy's cray cray. And like during the commercial breaks, my husband and I were like, and Kristin, if you're listening, my husband is really hard to impress. Like, he's just like, Hallmark, this is wrong, and blah, blah. But he said that you did a fantastic job of, like, creeping him out. So, kudos.
And Kaycee has a fun story of something that happened to her after she watched this movie with her husband.
Yes!
Tell us.
Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. Like I said, I don't get, I don't watch these thrillers, etc. But this movie wasn't necessarily scary. It was definitely on the creepy end. Like, it was more of a mind-blowing, oh my gosh. And I think I said that like 700 times throughout the movie. Like, anytime Mandy would be like creeping in the trees and like all of a sudden she's like right there. Or like she showed up at Brad and Ashley's and stood right behind Ashley and was like, hi. And like, she just pops out of nowhere.
That was like my favorite scene, actually, when she's just behind her, like, I let myself in. I love that.
What does that? Keep your doors locked, people. But anyway, so this one was definitely on the creepy side. So I wasn't necessarily scared. I was definitely creeped out a little bit. So after the movie was over, I had to use the bathroom. So I went and used the bathroom, and I'm just like, take my time because whatever. And I'm washing my hands, like looking at my phone. And I open the door, and my husband is standing there with a blanket over his head because Mandy wore the big giant hoodie, and she had that knife, and my husband was standing there with the blanket over his head, so I couldn't see him. And the hallway was super dark, so all I saw was a shadow, and he was holding up one of my kids' crafts, and they did some, I don't know what they were making, but they used a paper towel holder, like the cardboard, and he's like standing there staring at me, and like I literally took like 0.2 second look at him and screamed bloody murder and fell to the ground and just started laughing because I was so scared. And like I almost lost my cool.
This is why Kaycee watches Hallmark more than Lifetime.
Right? Here's the other thing too. I deserved it. So don't feel bad for me. I 110% deserve getting like scared out of my mind because I am the one to scare people. It is really hard for people to scare me. Like, I used to scare people all the time. I was annoying, I know. But and I still do that. I still do that with my husband. Like, when the kids are in bed, shenanigans ensues. Like, I'll just, like, hide in the pantry, and as soon as he opens it, I'm like, boo! And he's like, he jumps. And he hates it. But it's so much fun for me. So I 100% deserve to be scared. Do not feel sorry for me. But I have to say that now Mandy has become a joke in our house. So when my husband can't find me, he's like, Mandy? Mandy!
I know you're there.
Or like, it'll be like super dark in our house. We're getting ready for bed and I'm not paying attention. My husband will say something like, I hope Mandy's not stalking you. I'm like, oh my gosh. So Mandy has become like the new Chucky.
The new Chucky.
Anyways,
I love it.
yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was fun watching it with my husband because it wasn't signed sealed, so it was something completely different, and he did think it was well done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
and as did I.
Yes. So yes, we hope that everyone else enjoyed this movie, or at least enjoyed laughing at seeing our two favorites play some very interesting roles.
Yes.
Other than Sweet Shane and Rita.
Sweet Shane and Sweet Rita, they go dark. That's why I'm hiding in my DLO.
Yes. Your happy place.
My happy place. My happy place.
But before we end today's episode, I have some fun trivia for Kaycee.
Ruh-roh.
So the first two are normal questions about the movie, and then I have a little bit of a different for the second half. So, are you ready?
I don't know. I'm scared. Mandy, come out and help me.
All right. So, first question. Why does Brad come back to the house when Mandy is there planting the camera?
Oh, he needs to get his cell phone.
Correct.
Such a man. I'm just kidding.
Leaving his phone on the bed. Number 2. What type of flower do Mandy and Ashley meet over? What was the name of the flower?
It is a beautiful flower that's deadly.
Yes, that is true. However, it has a name of Angel's Trumpet.
Oh, good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Birds of Paradise is the breakup flower, so maybe we'll see that in The Wrong Divorce Lawyer.
There you go. Lifetime, give us a call. We got your next movie idea. And speaking of Lifetime, to the next segment here. So Lifetime, like, this is a kind of like a series of movies they do, like The Wrong XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are several other Hallmark actors who have starred in these Lifetime movies about the wrong whatever. So I'm going to give you the title and a hint as to who was in it, and based on the hint, see if you can guess. Because obviously I don't expect you to know what they were in, but
I was going to say, I'm going to start pulling names out of a hat. But
yeah, there's too many actresses to, they're all women, they're all actresses. So
okay, women, okay.
That narrows it down. All
That's
right,
helpful.
the first one is from The Wrong Mother, and she is a signed, sealed, delivered character that we've had on the podcast.
Is it Tammy Gillis?
Nope.
Is it Brooke Nevin?
It is Brooke Nevin, starred in The Wrong Mother.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm gonna have to start watching some of these.
Yes, there's several. I was like, whoa! I just was scrolling through, and I'm like, wait, these people they're Hallmark people. Okay.
All right.
Now we have The Wrong Woman, not The Wrong Mother, The Wrong Woman, and this actress has been or is seen as being too nice to be the wrong woman.
The Wrong Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Too nice.
Too sweet to be the wrong woman. Too
sweet. Cindy Busby?
Nope. I'm referencing something that's been said about this person on the Hallmarkies podcast.
Lacey Chabert?
Nope. Although she has been in a mystery series. Or is in a mystery series.
Oh, is in a mystery series. Too sweet.
Rachel from the Hallmarkies podcast has said that she's too sweet to be in wrapped up in murder. So that's my hint.
Oh man. Allison Sweeney.
Nope. It's a newer series.
Why is my mind blanking right now? Alexa Penavega?
Nope.
Jill Wagner?
Nope.
I'm like going through the mysteries in my head.
I'll give you the bigger hint. Victor Webster.
Oh, Danica McKellar.
Yes.
Oh,
Danica McKellar.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
So yeah, Danny McKellar did The Wrong Woman. And last one, The Wrong Stepmother. This particular actress is going back to her Mean Girl roots from another series involving horses.
Cindy Busby?
Yes.
Oh, yay! What one was that one called?
The Wrong Stepmother.
The Wrong Stepmother. Is that the one where she plays against Marcus Rosner? Or is that a different movie?
I don't think it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. They did The Killer Downstairs together.
But yes, that's all I have.
Oh, that was fun. We should do more trivia like that.
I know. I was like trying to think of how I could give hints. I was afraid Cindy's was a little old too obvious, but I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if you had watched enough Heartland to get that reference.
No, but I knew she was in it.
Yeah, and she played a mean girl. At least in the beginning.
When you said Mean Girl, I thought it was gonna be Lacey Chabert. But then you said series, and I was like, and then horses, and I'm like, I'm thinking Cindy Busby.
Yeah. But all right, Postables, that is all we have on the Wrong Wedding Planner today, and we hope you enjoyed this special bonus episode. We had a lot of fun covering it.
We did. And we had a lot of fun watching it. It was a bunch of shenanigans. So just, you guys, I mean, if you're like me and you don't do thrillers, just remember, Kristin and Crystal are friends in real life.
Yes.
So it was fun for them. So it was also fun for me to watch.
Yes. And Kaycee, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Hallmark My Words on Twitter.
All right. You can find me at JessBSW Blog on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can follow the podcast at Deliver Me a Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And also follow the regular podcast at Hallmarkies Pod or Hallmarkies Podcast. And as always, feel free to check out the merch store for tons of Postables themed items. Unfortunately, there are no Mandy themed items currently.
I mean, do you want a Mandy theme item? I think
you would like a Mandy themed item, as it's the running joke in your house.
Yeah, Mandy.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Hey Postables and Hallmarkies, I hope you enjoyed our discussion about The Wrong Wedding Planner. Jess and I had so much fun talking about it. Anyways, I just wanted to hop on here really fast and share some very exciting news. Deliver Me a Podcast is now its own podcast on Spotify and iTunes. Don't worry, we're still under the Hallmarkies Podcast Network umbrella. However, we are moving our Deliver Me a Podcast episode segments out of the Hallmarkies Podcast into its own separate feed. This will make it easier for you to listen to our episodes. You can now go back and listen to the recaps just as you would binging through Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Please note that as we transition, there may be some hiccups along the way, but we are working quickly to get those ironed out. Please make sure you find us on Spotify and iTunes and subscribe to Deliver Me a Podcast. I've also added the links to Spotify and iTunes in the description and the show notes for your convenience. While you're there, please leave us your 5-star review. This will help other Postables and fans discover our podcast covering all things Signed, Sealed, Delivered. We've already received a few reviews, and I just wanted to share them because they're so sweet. One says, Deliver Me a Podcast delivers. These ladies make things happen. They analyze without being too critical, know when to gush and show emotion, and talk with some really great people. They seem to genuinely like each other too. Great coverage for one of the greatest shows out there. Thanks so much, SSD fan. We actually do like each other a lot. And we're glad it shows on the podcast. Ruth P221 says, so happy to have this podcast to devour more details and reviews of my favorite Signed, Sealed, Delivered, created by Martha Williamson. Rachel Author says, this is like listening to a girls' night, and the best part, everyone is gushing over SSD. Love this. Thanks so much, you guys. We are just super fans of Signed, Sealed, Delivered, just like you all, and we love creating this podcast for you. And in the words of the dear sweet Cora Brandt, you are magnificent. Again, please be sure to subscribe to Deliver Me a Podcast. Next week's episode is one you won't want to miss, as we will be recapping Truth Be Told, one of our favorite movies in the entire series. It's definitely a fun one. So subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you back next week on Deliver Me a Podcast.